Guess this is a little bit more on the unconditional love moron shit. Um, yeah. I think about Batman. In Batman, the Joker, all through the Arkham games. In the third game, the Joker literally lives in Batman's head, and it's because the Joker has driven Batman insane. And it makes sense to me because you need to remember malignant narcissists want you to feel the way they feel. So when you hurt their feelings, they can't stop thinking about you. So they're just going to keep hurting you until you can't stop thinking about them. Which, I mean, thankful for Stu, Fred, Blondie, Kevin, David, Song, that dumb bitch, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Ganon! It's a good thing all these guys are malignant narcissists who just live in my head rent-free because they terrorize me and just murdered people because they gotta stay in my head because they can't process their emotions, and that's your fault! My church did that to me, but it's somehow your fault because I'm stupid! You'd be happier killing yourself. You would. That's not me being mean. Hey! You know how you guys live in that dream world where you pop the LSD? If you want to prove that dream world's real, shoot yourself in the head. You can go be with all your friends. Think about it. Anyways, in the Batman series, effectively the Joker drives Batman insane, and he's everywhere. And the Joker fears being forgotten because he's a loser. And Batman himself is a narcissist, but he's the weirdest kind of narcissist. I guess, he's an altruist and he doesn't like killing people. Batman doesn't kill. It's kind of his thing. It's his one rule. Whereas Joker does kill, and he thinks it's stupid that the Batman doesn't kill. And to be fair to these people, Batman is fucked up because he puts the Joker in, the Joker gets out. And there are other story arcs in Batman that are kind of funny, like, example, the Bat metal similar to the lead heavy metal these idiots drink, so they can be psychopaths and just kill people. In Batman, there's the Bat metal that does the same thing. And in the Bat metal storyline, there's an entire event where Batman gets to decide whether or not he's going to keep the heavy metal, and he keeps it, knowing full well it's the Bat metal that actually creates all the other narcissistic villains in Gotham. Yes, the Riddler, Two-Face, Cobblepot, everybody else in the Batman, every villain in the Batman universe is created due to exposure to heavy metals because Gotham's an industrial district and there's tons of heavy metals in the soil, in the water. It literally, if Batman paid his taxes and cleaned all that up, there wouldn't be any fucking sociopaths in fucking Gotham. But there are. It's one of those things. He's literally a self-replicating stupid asshole that creates his own fucking prison and lives in his own prison. And innocent people get killed while he lives his fantasy of being a hero. So you could argue Batman is the ultimate evil. Yeah. If you had the chance to get rid of all the evil in the world, would you? Or would you just stand by and let it be because it makes life interesting? Wow, life's so interesting. There are more interesting things you can do in life outside of hurt people. I mean, this church doesn't believe that, but there is. Mountain climbing, skydiving. You can take one of those submarines down to the Titanic and die horribly. You can drive a motorcycle. You can drive in a demolition derby. There's a lot more to life. The problem with these people is they lack multi-perspective. That's because they pop LSD. When you pop LSD, it makes it difficult to see things from other perspectives. And that's locked in from being emotionally stunted. They don't have the ability to take your perspective, let alone see other perspectives. That's because they're imbeciles. But this video isn't that. In a nutshell, with the unconditional love, you learn how to act in a certain way that makes people like you. And these people go to people pretending to be as many different things as they can to get unconditional love, and even try to replace people to get unconditional love, which is actually conditional love. And they'll do anything for conditional love. But the other side of this video, Why I wanted to do this video was once you understand that they're just fake in every relationship and everything they do is hollow and empty, because of who they are, because they can't connect with people, because they don't have sympathy or empathy, they can't connect with you in a meaningful way. These losers, when you give them unconditional love, and this is why you should never give a narcissist unconditional love, is boundary testing. Jose, the guy that founded this religion, one of the excuses, it's an excuse, he made for murdering kids in horrible ways and murdering women in horrible, horrible ways, is actually really straightforward. He was doing it to test the unconditional love of the church. He had to know, no matter how many atrocities he committed, no matter how badly he acted out, they wouldn't abandon him. He needed to know he could do the worst things to man and always be the victim. He needed to know nobody would ever hurt him, and so he kept boundary pushing. And this is a thing with an emotionally stunted person, something I haven't touched on. They need to push boundaries. They need to know how far they can go before you bust them in the mouth. And the problem with these people is when you stand up for yourself and bust them in the mouth, they shoot you in the head. Because they don't like it when you stand up for yourself. They don't like it when you are a separate entity from them because they don't know where they end and you begin. They want everybody to be a part of them, and they think everything is that's where the entitlement comes from. They are everything when they're nothing. And that's the sad fact of these creatures. They lack a real identity. They have no identity. They have no values. They have no morals. They have a mindless rules they follow. And they are mindless rules they follow. Okay? Even the shit where they don't lie, but then they lie all the time, but they don't lie. They lie. Endgame, they lie. Okay? The boundary pushing is important because it is literally how a child behaves. It is children are really good at boundary pushing, and they want to know how far they can go to get what they want and how far. And people will do this normally with people to see what they can and can't get away with. I myself have never felt a need to do it because it just seems stupid to me. I just kind of do whatever I want regardless of what other people are doing. But the narcissist is obsessed with other people, okay? They love terrorizing other people. And this is the excuse of suffering is good for you. Now, the other reason these people want you to believe suffering is good for you is because you're the working class and you're going to suffer. Because the rich ones, the narcissists at this church, who are the rich ones, are not going to suffer. You're not going to make that happen. And I remember this shit. These guys went to prison, and they were pissed at me they got sent to prison. If they thought life was suffering, they would have loved being in prison. They would have been like, Bobby, why'd you let us out? We belong there. They didn't do that. They didn't thank me. They got pissed about it because they're not about that suffering. They want you to be about that suffering, but they do not want that for themselves. Okay. One of the guys I was working with was, that I almost call him that David fucker. He went to a train station and cleaned up the garbage and was like, you see, I don't know why rich people have to pay taxes to clean up the environment. You could just go out there and do it. And I was just like, so David, you're going to go out there and clean up that garbage and so we don't have to pay, so rich people don't have to pay taxes. And he immediately went, no! You're going to go out there and clean up that garbage. You think it's important. I shouldn't have to pay taxes. You do it. Now, David, I have to go to fucking work. I ain't got time to go around cleaning up America and working at the same time, asshole. And there was this, like, freeze. And he didn't know how to process what I just told him. And then he was like, if you think it's so important, I don't care. I don't care. And this retard has money. He can do things. He's not gonna. Because he doesn't care. And I think people are all about that shit. I remember this Republican guy in Georgia was all about not caring about the environment until he went fishing and he kept catching garbage. Literally, he caught like a boot, he caught a garbage bag, and he kept catching trash. And then when that happened, suddenly he cared about the environment. And this is the problem with a lot of people and how they think. They don't care until it affects them. Example, billionaires don't care about climate change until they start roasting. And then when they start roasting, there's a problem. Okay, there's something bad happening here, and I don't like it, but right up until that point, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. When you're responding like a 2-year-old, there should be a legal authority that just comes to your house and slaps you. And I would say, like, even in politics, if you're dumb enough to act like that, there should just be some lady that just walks over and just bitch smacks your ass. And you, no, and you just keep slapping them until they grow up. Like, whatever, man. I tend to be very black and white on these things, and it's a wonderful fantasy to think about. I've had a lot to think about recently, thought processing and shit wise, something I haven't been able to do in a while, so there's a lot of shit I need to process. I keep thinking about in Mad Max how they're running away from their problems, and then Max suggests that they just go straight through them. They just drive the rig straight through them, and hopefully you make it, and I kind of think that's where I've arrived at in life. I've also been thinking about Furiosa, Dementis' awesome speech at the end, where he talks about only hate will get you to do that. Like, hate will fucking, trust me, as a guy that has extreme amounts of hatred and have experienced close to death events and then have just felt unrelenting fucking rage and has been summoned back to life through sheer hatred, which I've done before, trust me. I had a dream when I was dying from Zithromax. Zithromax is an antibiotic. The church took all my money from it, which was more money that was supposed to be given to me, but stolen by a bunch of bastards so they can rape babies and human traffic. So, thank God for that. Yeah, we want you to worship our God. Piece of shit God? That's the God you want me to worship? Piece of shit God? Fuck him, he can eat shit. Tell him to blow it out his ass. But, in that movie, Dementis goes, by the way, that rat shot will tear through my brain, turn my brain to pink mist faster than, and I won't even hear the sound of the gun. I think that's what I want. A quick, painless, quick death. An elite mummy god told me he's gonna give me a wish. I'm gonna wish that Blondie has to take a Smith & Wesson 500 to my head. And you need to remember, my head is bullet resistant. I do have superior genes. I am worth saving. Anybody with half a fucking brain would want to give me a fucking wife to reproduce because my genes could be the very genes that save mankind. But we both know these guys are retards. And they don't think like that. They think like retards. I want him to shoot me in the head. And I want to die instantly. I'm pretty tired. I don't want to live in a world with emotionally stunted retards in it anymore. Because I can see all the problems and the curse of being me, and it makes me wonder, in a galactic sense, if the universe did give me everything I needed to stop these people, and what happened when I reported this church and everybody went to prison and everything went the way it was supposed to, was the universe was actually trusting me to fix everything. Yeah. God sent one man, the universe, the doom guy, and unto them we send only you, Bobby. To stop these bastards. And I was poisoned with heavy metals till I was retarded. And I legitimately believe the universe was like, good people are going to help him. Good people are going to help him. And then good people did nothing because good people are useless. Apparently. I would prefer effective good people. Effective good people that go, you're going to do the right thing or we're going to blow your head off. I only care about everyone. I don't want a bullet to the head. It's crazy. I just gotta be nice. I can be nice. Oh, shit. Fuck. You know, it's a fantasy, but you know, um, yeah. I do think about even I've multiple times when I was growing up, I went on about this church I wanted to open. It wasn't like a real, well, I guess it was a real church. Technically, it would be a real church, legal definition. But it would be the church to end all churches. There wouldn't be another reason for anybody. Nobody would ever want to be a different religion outside of the church I created. That's just the general fact. This stupid shit where you just cause suffering and suffering and suffering and suffering. Like, we would drive home in my church, every other church are retards because they're just like, oh, we're just here to suffer, dudes. It's amazing. Let's just get hurt as much as we can and hurt other people. I love doing that. We just make fun of them, and you just fucking make fun of these fuckers until they killed themselves. Like, he's a fucking loser. Like, but whatever. I think about it. I wonder if the universe actually wanted to give me a semi-fair shot, knowing I would never get a fair shot because of who I am. Even in the situation I am now. The first time in my life, I'm kind of a loser just living at my dad's house, but I mean, there's a bunch of assholes going around showing a video of me with a baby, and nobody likes people who do that stuff to kids. And I didn't do that stuff. I was abducted and forced to do that by being poisoned with drugs and beaten and raped. Okay? Yeah, what's your worst fucking day? I was forced to do a bunch of shit against my will because a bunch of dumb bitches out in the desert believe some asshole named Jose a million years ago that was beat to death and got his fucking head chopped off was somehow superior. Because that's what happens when you're superior. People murder your ass. Yeah, anybody with 2% brain would be able to figure out that guy's a goddamn retard. Okay? They would drop that shit immediately, but these people they love being stupid, so they're even dumber than that. They'll never figure that shit out. I'll tell you what, you couldn't explain it to them if you wanted to. Yeah. The world's going to shit and it's by design, and that's the shit that pisses me off. And the other shit is these idiots, because they pop LSD, they can't see other perspectives. They can't see what this could be. They can only see what it is, and they want to maintain what it is because they're imbeciles. Okay. I think now I understand why the universe chose me for this task, even though I seem like such an unlikely fit. But I love psychology. I'm probably the only person that would have figured out that there's some kind of grooming ritual and indoctrination at this church. I'm probably the only person capable of doing what I did. My extra dense skeleton and my resistance to poisons, all that shit came into play, and that was the universe pushing me along in a fate, destiny, chaos theory. I just happened to 1,000,000% be that guy. Buddhist, nihilism, Star Wars, whatever. Whatever you want to call it. I was pushed into that position. Maybe it was the universe's last Hail Mary. Maybe I was all the energy the universe had in one go to try and stop these people. And everybody on the planet worked against me. Or at least, that's what it felt like. And you want to talk about biblical shit? Here's some biblical shit for you. Jesus comes back and this exact same scenario happens. And then he's just like, yeah, we tested it to see if they could be good people. And the answer's no. Kill them. Destroy them. Obliterate them. What if each time these people killed a fucking prophet, a real person, a good person like myself who was just doing the right thing, each time that happened, the earth got a little hotter? And what if that's the real reason the earth gets a little hotter? And what if I'm the actual prophet of the tipping point? And upon my death, when I tell these assholes I wish you to shoot me in the head with a Smith & Wesson 500 and my brains to be blown out, and I end up in heaven and I just tell them, cook them. Cook them. Boil them until there's nothing left but the purifying nectar of their souls. Trust me, that'll stop even fascists. Nothing about having money is going to save you from global warming. My thoughts for now.